first name is Ennock Mlangeni, aka Ennock M Art, or Ennock Mart for short if you.
He has just delivered one of his masterpieces to an overjoyed client. He draws his inspiration from a life far from luxury and wealth. This is Stories Untold. My name is Pule Molebatsi, bringing you yet another colorful edition of the show. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the next half an hour of sheer inspiration. The narrative of starving artists often overshadows their work and talent. But this has never been the case for Ennock Mlangeni, now a successful self-taught visual artist. Instead, Ennock himself embraced the poverty image as he turned his shack into his very personal art studio. Born in the small rural village of Privatisation in the Free State, his parents passing when he was just 7 left him and his brother orphans raised by their unemployed grandmother in Zamdela Township, Sasolburg. It was during that experience and unbearable poverty that he discovered his talent. Every cloud truly has a silver lining. Stories Untold visited him again, and he has since secured an art studio. This is how he narrates his journey.
I think the passion and the love for art grew when I was in high school, when I started entering competitions. You know, there used to be competitions at school, and the teachers would encourage me to participate, and I would enter my works and win. And I think that's one of the things that made me realize that actually I'm good with this thing, because I was from a public school, and the student that we were competing with did visual art in their school, and we used to win against all those. So I think that was more of an assurity that I'm actually good with this art thing.
Without any training? Without any training. All right. At the time, what inspired your art?
Most of my works are inspired more by my experiences, because, like, I don't know, back then I used to use art as my scapegoat. Like, whenever I had some challenges, I was not a vocal person. I would spend hours and hours just trying to get these things, my emotions, on paper.
Chalk on paper. He recalls this memory.
There's one experience that, like, I can't get it off my mind. Or I think I was in grade 6, grade 6. So we used to attend this exhibition, expos, each and every year. And that year, the teachers asked us to bring like lunch or something that we're going to eat the next day when we go to the exhibition. So when they came in the morning and said, okay, those who have lunches or money to go to the exhibition, and seeing other students working, getting up, and I was the only one left. And so I think at that moment, it was, I think, one of the saddest moments of my life. And but I think that's when, because I was alone, and I was bored, and I started sketching around because I was just frustrated, but the pen and paper came through for me.
Distilling and depicting emotions, this became his life.
When I completed my matric, I couldn't go to university. I couldn't afford to. I wanted to study art, but I could not afford it. So I opted to go to a college and studied HR. And along the way, I found it not interesting for me. It was something that I knew that I didn't want to do. So I applied for a program that was done by Sasol and Val University to study entrepreneurship, because I've always wanted to do something that is related to business. And I think I needed also to learn the skill in order to develop what I do.
What were the challenges that you went through when you were pursuing this journey?
Yeah, you know, when you start, you don't have information, you don't know some of the things about art, and the most challenging thing is you also lacking materials, because art is one passion that needs money to practice. So I always had a challenge of materials, and I think that's when I started using more, because when I started drawing I used to do pen wax and color pencils, because they were cheaper and easily accessible.
So you're starting out, you don't have the resources, you don't have money. How did that affect you?
I think it affected me in so many ways. I think it also affected my growth, because I believe I could have done more, but because of those challenges, some of the things had to stop for time being, and you had to focus on certain things, because at the end of the day you have to eat also, and there is no one working at home, so you must bring something yana on the table.
Growing frustrated with failure to find financial security, he drew small pieces that he would sell for a couple of rands just to bring bread home.
There was a point where I would do portraits, but like cheap, so that they can be something that is getting in at least, so that people can eat. You can also be covered on some of the things that you also need. But you know, the dream was to, okay, there is a level that I want to reach. So I had to keep some of the pieces exclusive and make that section to be accessible so that people can buy.
Where would you say you are right now compared to where you started?
I think this is where my career is starting to move. This is where things are starting to happen. Because from moving, because my art journey started in a shack, and I've always wanted to own an art studio. So this was literally my first biggest achievement, and which I'm proud of. And I've achieved a lot of things so far. I've never exhibited my work, I've never displayed my work anywhere or participated in a group exhibition or so. Because you know, when you start doing art, you start sending your works to galleries and they will reject you, and that thing it discourages you. So at some point I just decided to be on my own, find myself and find ways to get my name out there. And that's when I started using social media a lot, and getting my works out there and getting people to appreciate it.
With that said, a trip to Belgium awaits.
I met this lady on Twitter, then she asked for my details. So they work on charity, yeah. So they asked me to donate a piece for them to their charity. And okay, I said I wouldn't mind donating for a good cause. So I made a piece, then donated it. So those pieces were taken to an art auction. And so that's when Danny is the owner of the gallery in Belgium. He was attending the auction, so he loved my work. So he's the one who bought it. And I think 2 months after the auction, Danny sent me a message on Instagram showing the painting. Said, okay, I love your work. I bought it somewhere and I would really love to get more of your work. So that's how we started talking. And towards late last year, I think September, October, that's when he proposed the idea of having a solo exhibition in Belgium. I think it's amazing from where I started, and to have your first solo exhibition and it's international, that's crazy.
The inquest into the death of anti-apartheid activist Dr. Neil Agate will continue the High Court in Johannesburg. Sometimes this graphic testimony that's being given.
I saw him coming with the police, struggling to walk. and he was bending forward like that, almost like he was not able to pick up his body.
Obviously, you can't complain to the person who beats you up. We complain, as you saw, to the doctor, to the magistrate, to whoever else came.
The document referred to by Officer Victor is not an accurate document as published.
We believe that the fourth industrial revolution can change things for us.
We can do telemedicine. Now that means that over a long distance or any distance, I don't have to go and visit a doctor. I can actually see the doctor online.
In Africa, we don't have sufficient doctors. In Africa, we don't have sufficient clinics. It actually makes sense.
Wi-Fi and 5G technology formed some part of the conversation that took place right here.
5G, of course, has the advantage of better experience and also the high efficiency when it comes to the cost per bit.
We haven't issued spectrum in the last 10 years. We have 4G today, which we have had to harvest spectrum from other technologies to be able to get 4G, and now it's costing us a lot more money.
Many, if not most, small medium enterprise businesses are making technology their own businesses.
On Network every Sunday at 8:30 p.m.
Welcome back to the show. You have probably heard this before, and it may sound like a cliche, but behind every successful man is a strong woman. Right now, we find out who that cheerleader to Ennock has been. Let's see. Ennock took us home to the woman he says has been his pillar of strength.
ba se hantle ba ne ba se hantle ke le ka banka ka monka na le 7 years ena le abuti wa hae ene kana ko le nna ne ke sa phele hantle ke kula mara ke ne ke rapela ke re modimo ha ebe o no so ba dile matsatsi a ka ke kopa o a eketse bana ba hole fela ba kgone ho ba be le boikarabelo ke mantswe a ka ene ke a kopa ho modimo ka nako eo hona ho le thata hona ho le boima ne ke sokola mara he ka go modimo ke modimo ne re robala re jele.
In the midst of their struggle, she realized that he had a talent for arts.
Yes, kana ko ya ati ke mo bone ha le sekolong man ke bona bana ba bangata ba ntse ba tla ho yena ha ba na le mosebetsi wa sekolo ba ntse ba re kopa ko re tlohele ntho itseng o re etsetse ntho itseng a ntse ba etsetsa jwalo a ntse ba thusa jwalo o ka ba ka elello ma ga motho ona ka gona le talente ona ke le ke mo bosa kana ko mo ke hantle ntle wena mosebetsi wa hao ke o batla ho etsa a rena ke batla ho ba artist ha ke etsa ha ke qeta sekolo ke tlo sebetsa ke tlo draw fela ka a wena ha qala he a ntsa draw jwa ha sa tsule sekolo e be ile re sa solo e ba isa sekolong se seng ke makala kana ko nngwe ha ke rekile kofi fela ka speed kofi ha e sa le ke sa tsebo hantle ntle kofi e qetwa ke thola ke ga ha ona ta mhlong ba sebedisa fa anti motho ona o droya ka yona kofi ina.
And since then she has held his hand through his journey.
Ho le bima mara e re ha ko pantho tse itseng ha ke na le tšhelete ke khona ho mone ha ke mofe a etse ntho tseo tsa ha itseo jale ana ke re ne ke sa di tsebe e re ha re ke hona le ntho tse ke batlang ho lo di reka ke ha ke na tšhelete ma ha ke na le yona ke tlo fa ka nne tha ke na le yona ke mofe a tsamaya etse ntho tseo tsa ha itseo.
Reminiscing about the past, the family now has more than coffee in abundance.
O tshentshile haholo hobane o a nthusa ha ke sa kgona hore ha ke thola 5 cent be ke mathaki a shopong ha ke thola ke matha ke a shopo ho tshintshile hobane o khona ho bona ditlhoko tsa ka tlung ke le ke leboa modimo hobane ha se ka bohlale baka ke ka mohau wa ntate modimo ga a fihle mone mo a teng jwale ke a leboa ene ke rata ntho e le nngwe ho yena la ha ka kopana le motho a bona motho a sokola ha tshabe ho ntsha phothong a mo fe mothino a etse ke hore ke ntho e nthabisang ka ho fetisisa hobane o thusa batho ha ko ha ka bona motho a sokola ha rati
everyone unamitsa ka mabitso like mapentane whatever. Then since Asha mo TV, then people started to realize, oh, this thing is serious. This person is a celebrity now. Nathi besaqabanga ukuthi hayi angeke afike la. Nesithatha into engathi simple nje. Uthanda ukuthi asithoyele nje. But thina besingamthandeli entokweni kakhulu. Sithi uyadlala.
He admires his brother for not succumbing to his newly acquired celebrity status.
Awinoka akashintshanga yazi. Uthanda abantu. Utreat abanye umuntu like everyone else. And akathanda ukubona umuntu omunye asokola. Imzuzu ubuhlungu. Mina ngare asikasinyachelete ashebe tsela ya ho tsinka yona uyibeke. Gore o dile ho le thata ka tlung re sna batswadi tse ding tsa dintho no se easy gore ka dithola but then mama na etsa make sure re la re kupile ntho la re sa ithole ka yona nako e but then re tla ithola bana baka make sure na bua re support ka ntho molemo gore nna ngare aka shebe ba khotsi this time because everyone hamona ubona coffee because of ka atiala yetsa ka coffee ya blue coffee then everyone has bona Ennock ke coffee ha sa le mapentane se ba mitsa coffee.
Finance Minister speaking last year was quite clear that one, he doesn't want a constant bailout of state-owned enterprises, including SAA. And then he also said there's no reason for SAA and we can get rid of it.
The one that people are talking about is the issue of privatization, but I don't think that privatization is within the horizon at the moment. But what I can say is the liberalization of the aviation industry may be on the horizon.
Talk to us about the share that the continent gets as compared to the rest of the world.
$1.85 trillion globally. 2.5% of that went into Africa in 2018. For us, the number one most critical issue in the energy industry of Africa is investment.
It's time for us to be real stewards of our resources.
A lot of detail coming out from Ms. Mlangeni.
She was actually rubbishing most of the assertions.
I don't accept the allegation. It is baseless and it is not true. And I'm glad I'm before the court to state the facts.
The success of every business is its clients. Welcome back to Stories Untold. Ennock Mlangeni comes from the humblest of beginnings, but his work has reached business moguls as well as local public figures. Let's have a look. Coffee on Coffee. This is the portrait that put Ennock on the map. He decided to use coffee granules to create a DJ's painting. The portrait went viral on social media, and life has never been the same for him.
I like experimenting a lot with different things, like how my coffee artworks started. Because one day I was busy with a piece, then the coffee spilled on that work. So I couldn't remove that thing because I was using pen. Okay, now what can I do? And that's when the idea of, like, I started doing different mixtures of coffee. That's where the idea of painting DJ Black coffee with coffee. Then I posted it on my social media account, and that one went viral.
And that was not the only piece that broke the internet.
The first one was the Mama Winnie, of course, because it was in 2017. I think that's the point where people started recognizing me on social media, because everyone was talking about her, because she's done so much for this country. So that's when I decided to do her portrait. And my work started making a buzz back then when Minister of Education posted it on Twitter and tagged me. And that's when people started, and the next day it was on TV, okay. So for me, that was the turning point of my career. Like, okay, now things are starting to unfold. And the very same piece I entered the big art competition, and that was the winning piece for 2018-19.
My coffee artwork.
Coffee artwork, yes.
Oh my God. I remember the first time I saw this little piece, I absolutely fell in love.
The social media buzz also attracted clients.
I reached out to Ennock on Instagram. He didn't want to sell me this piece because he said it's very close to his heart, and like he was holding on to it like it's his baby.
Everything that I've achieved it via social media. The Connie piece, Connie is one person who is very big in the art industry in general, because we grew up watching her as Karabo in Generations, and to the person that she has become now, and it's amazing, and it shows you that as an artist there is more to your craft. So she's one person who's very inspiring. And a few weeks back I decided to do her portrait. Of course she didn't know. Also posted it and said this, like showing her friends that, like, the progress. And a few days later she decided to hit me, go Instagram with a text, because she was interested in another art piece that I own, and she bought it.
We also talked to his regular client, Tebogo Masike.
I think it's 3 years now that I've been buying art from him. Every year I feel a need for a piece. I mean, I regularly visit art galleries, art fairs, art auctions, and I regularly look at the work he's doing as well. And he obviously every year has a piece that appeals to me. I've got 4 that I've got, and then I've got a 5th one that just needs to be delivered. My overall impression of his work is that he's got a very bright future in the art space. He's doing what he's doing at the very right time, where contemporary art is on the rise. His work fits well with my spaces as well.
Having grown up in the township himself, he imparts this knowledge of wisdom.
We're in an era where galleries authenticate work, galleries value work, and art is pieces that are going to move from me to the next guy, to the next guy, to the next guy, to the next guy. So the journey of an art piece is forever. And unfortunately, those are the people that can always authenticate, oh, this was done in 19 whatever, it was bought at this much, now it's selling at this much, now it's going, 10 years later, it's, they've got the history, they can document it.
From frustrating poverty to rainmaker, Mlangeni is now financially comfortable.
For me, I mean, I want to be to reach a very high investment level. I don't see myself as an artist wakokasi fela who's going to sell his work for, let's say, 500 to a few thousands. My dream is to reach, to sell my pieces for millions, because currently my range is around 20 to 100 now. Yeah. So, but I still want to grow. I still want to reach that high level.
And he gives this advice to people who dream of painting for a living.
I think for someone, I could say be yourself, always be yourself, and believe in your work, because there is no limits to art. There is always something that is unique about each and every piece of art. So whatever that you do, if you are an artist, believe in your craft. Yes, there is always someone going to notice you.
Despite having achieved so many accolades and celebrity status, he still insists that people do not know him yet.
People always say, but we know you. Whenever they see you on TV, they're like, but we know you, but the you don't know me yet thing, for me, it's more like a prophecy to myself. It's more like you can still do better than this. You can, like, there is more of me that I haven't shared. There is more of me that the world is still going to see. If you see this piece today and say, this is amazing, this is your best piece, to me, I'm saying I can still do better than that. If you've seen me growing from there to here, it doesn't mean that that's where I'll end. There's still a journey that I want to walk. Like, I still want to grow big.
And even though he is successful, he still unwinds with the people he grew up with.
And it comes sometimes here, chill with us, we buy some meat or drink some coke, and we'll be full of paint. And man, are you busy? Man, you know, he'll chill with us for about 20 minutes and say, guys, I'll see you. He'll go there, close the door in his shack, you'll see him again tomorrow.
And on that creative note, we end our show here for today. Remember, you can catch all of Ennock's work across different social media platforms. While you're at it, look for us on YouTube, searching for SABC Stories Untold. If you missed any of our shows, you can catch them there. From myself, Pule Mulebatsi, and the rest of the Stories Untold team, goodbye.